Welcome into the Wacky Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Mrs. Incredible, joined today with co-host
Zach.
Zach. We got a fun-filled episode today. The playoffs are happening. We got to recap a wild end of the season, and maybe look at the best division in fantasy football history, Division 1, in our Wacky Dynasty.
It's all right. A little overhyped.
Division 1?
Yeah.
It's never overhyped, dude. All right. We're going to look back at what happened to end the season. Some wild playoff scenarios happened, and we got to see the fallout from that already, but let's go over it.
Yeah. A million different things could have happened, and it was kind of wacky.
The most obvious one did happen.
Some major chokes.
Yeah, some major chokes. Starting off with the biggest choke of all, and this one really hurts to see now. I beat Ian, which everyone saw coming from a mile away. I just didn't want it to happen. You got anything to add?
He's kind of limping into the playoffs. He has a bye, but half his team is out this week anyway. So pretty good time to not play anybody. Really fucked you over in your draft lottery status.
It really did.
Suck it, dude.
I don't know who would ever start Dwan Vele, but that would never be me, and I would never lose to someone who does that. So, yeah, some standouts. Rico, you did pretty good.
He's baller. What an offense.
Mark Andrews, you did pretty good too.
Yeah, and it's not even the worst tight end wide receiver trade in our league anymore.
No, that's the craziest part.
Not even close.
Yeah, you can't make fun of me for it.
I still can.
Okay. It's pretty standard stuff from Mixon and Kamara. Jalen with an okay game. Cup with a slow one, but not as slow as he had this week. Vele, as we mentioned, shit. And yeah, Brees and Ken hurt right now.
Decision to start Vele. It's got to be weighing heavy on Ian's mind.
He already had the 1 seed locked up, so not too much to worry about for Ian. Moving on to our next game here. We got you versus Aaron.
Yeah. My team stunk it up this week. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Keenan Allen went crazy, though. That was pretty cool on Thanksgiving.
That was pretty cool.
Amir Abdullah was a pretty wacky start.
No, that's a 6 start. Mooney stunk.
I traded away my good players, and I think I had like one player on my bench who isn't on IR right now. So this is actually pretty respectable point total.
I didn't even put up this much, so I can't say too much.
And Aaron's team just
went off.
Went off, yeah.
Bucky, that looks like a really good pickup. I don't think he drafted him. I think he picked him up. But it's looking really good for Aaron.
Yeah, I think Bucky right here is looking like he was in a prime spot to have a big game. Maybe get Aaron into the playoffs. We'll see, though.
We'll see. We'll find out.
Find out later.
A-Chain doing what A-Chain does. And Sutton putting up another big one. McConkey, he's looking like a really good draft pick right now.
Yeah, I think he probably would have a big game the next week, too.
If he played. All right. Good job, Aaron. Moving on here to Garrett versus Zach in another division matchup. And Zach took care of business.
Garrett couldn't have scored like 0.84 more points.
Wow, what does that do? Gets it up to 69. That's pretty sweet. No, he couldn't. It wasn't in Bo Nix's future.
Tough. It was not a Chuba game that week.
Jacoby Myers, though.
Myers.
But Wan'Dale Robinson, though.
Yikes. Bo Nix, not a great game.
No, not what you come to expect of him. But Zach, a lot of positives on Zach's side. Huge game from Jaden and T. McBee, Trey McBride.
Yeah. Jefferson scoring touchdowns again. Not this week, but eventually.
And without a touchdown, he still put up a pretty good week.
Zack is cruising into the playoffs with a lot of momentum.
A lot of momentum going his way. And honestly, with Chubb in there, a very respectable team. I mean, Chubb kind of stinks, but it's a lot better than what he used to have at running back.
Yeah.
So that, good for Zack. We're rooting for you, Zack. Moving on to the next slide. We got Paul versus Tim.
What in the world?
What? Is there something wrong?
I think my screen is glitching or something.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a glitch.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Tim really took care of business. A demolishing of Paul here.
Just dominant performance. Adding Tyreek Hill at the deadline. Big move. Tyreek
Big
has
move.
been heating up. Chase Brown, get that in a deal with Cade. Same with Derrick Henry. Tim's team is pretty deadly. Potential for huge weeks like this.
Especially with Josh Allen at the helm. I mean, he had a huge game, and it's not even the biggest game that's going to be in this recap. So we'll get to that eventually as well. On Paul's side, kind of a slow game, but Amari Cooper did score 4.20, which makes 420.
A decent performance. A couple guys were lackluster, and going up against 154 is tough.
Is this the game McCaffrey got hurt too?
I don't know.
I think it is. Wasn't that snow game against Buffalo?
Yeah.
So that was that's a rough exit for Paul. That could have been a huge McCaffrey game.
Yeah, and that Josh Jacobs trade. Josh Jacobs has been a stud the last few weeks.
He really has. He's been
last
really
half of
good.
the season.
And he's looking like a top tier running back, and he's going to be on Green Bay for a few years. That's looking like a good one. Jennings, though, he's not looking great.
Better than Debo.
He's a lot better than Debo. Moving on here, we got Chris versus Cade in a battle for Division 2. This is like going to be Vikings Lions Week 18.
Where did you find that dumb picture?
It's a crazy place. That's all I'll say. Yeah, Kittle, he did pretty shitty. And so did Cade's team, honestly. I mean, like 112, don't get me wrong. I haven't scored 112 more than 2 times this year. Maybe just one even. Maybe 0. But for Cade, that's a bad week. That's a bad week for Cade. And it couldn't have come at a worse time because Chris's team went off. They wanted it more.
Yeah, I mean Chris's team, it might be the best in the league right now. That Burrow Chase stack is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. And Brock Bowers, best rookie, maybe the best fantasy rookie last 10 years since Cam Newton, maybe.
He was a good rookie.
No, he's going crazy. I've never seen it. Like I thought Laporta was good last year, and Brock Bowers is just
Killing it. And I know Laporta just had Goff, but like he's doing it with these scrub quarterbacks. Zach is gonna go take a quick break. But yeah, like I was saying with Big Brock, he's doing it with a mixture of Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Desmond Ritter. Like it just isn't looking good for the boy. But they're gonna get the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. Probably draft a quarterback. Probably get a new coach. I'd imagine. Things are looking up. I mean, Chris's team is good and young. Cade's team is also pretty young and very good. It's just a down week for Cade overall. Moving on to our next matchup, we got me versus Paul. This was a battle for a playoff spot, which I did not think would happen for me this year.
Huge battle. You guys were both trying to lose, but both of you had the integrity not to tank. I appreciate that.
I put out my best lineup. I had a lot of buys.
Yeah, and Paul's team just he really could have used these kind of points this week. He did not have a good Thursday, but just all around great performance, except for wide receiver 1 there.
Jaden Reed. Yeah, a down week. Just some highlights. My team didn't really have any. Maybe Ray McLeod. I didn't think he'd score 16. But then on Paul's side, Shakir, he's looking really good. Shakir is looking like a really good wide receiver right now. Is he going to be the wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen for a few years now?
Could be.
Jacobs, as we mentioned earlier, stud. Kyron doing what he does, scoring touchdowns. Brock had a pretty good game. And yeah, came out on top and put up a really good week despite that goose egg at the bottom.
How does it feel to be bested in this pivotal matchup?
I was really happy to lose. I would have put up just as much of a stinker as Paul is right now. And just lose to Tim just worsens my odds at a better pick, so I'm happy with it. I wish Ian would have beat me last week so I could have the best odds at the number 1, but it is what it is. Plus, I think I would have needed to have won, and then I would have needed Aaron to lose. And just a preview, he might not have lost. All right, moving on to you versus Chris. Chris, we were just talking about the Burrow Chase stack. That's fucking insane. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I needed a very specific set of circumstances for me to make the playoffs, and it was looking pretty good at one point.
Yeah, you needed me to beat Paul, and that or no, yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah,
Because you would have the tiebreaker over me.
I would have had the tiebreaker over both of you.
Oh, so were we not involved at all?
But you would have need if I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know.
But I know it was looking good, and then I lost. So
Yeah, the one thing you needed was a win.
I didn't sell at the deadline to make the playoffs. I have no reason to lose. I don't have my own picks. I actually end up with the number 1 odds. So congrats, Garrett.
Number 1 and number 2 odds.
I'm rooting for it though because I have your second. Shit. I'm not. I have Garrett's second round pick. So
So you want Garrett to get the number 1, and then
yeah,
Garrett can get the number 2 too.
yeah,
But
you can get the number 2 with my pick, but get the number 1 with your own pick.
all right. And Sharp's also putting up almost 40, and Ken Walker might be out for a few weeks here.
Yeah. Who knows? He might be out for the year. Might be done.
Rashad White, huge game.
Or even if he comes back, I don't know how you bench Sharps.
He's been really good, and Ken Walker has been kind of stinky recently. Started off hot, but the Rashad White trade is looking good too, especially if Bucky is hurt.
Jamar Chase put up 45. That's a little low recently for him. So
Agreed. And on your side, anyone you want to highlight? Sammy D.
I'm gonna highlight my boy Darnell Mooney.
He's really good, dude.
Thank God for Rondell Moore getting hurt in the preseason.
He might have shined without him.
I dropped that shit ass wide receiver for the actual wide receiver that was worth anything in Atlanta.
You got that right.
Hopefully Kirk stays the starter because he loves him some Mooney.
All right, moving on to the next matchup. Ian versus Zack. This game was pretty inconsequential. But they both put up very respectable numbers. The craziest part was T. Higgins needed like 1 catch in like the last half of that game for Zack to have beaten Ian and for Ian to go on a 3-game losing streak. But he somehow did not find a ball again. I mean, maybe it's because they're all going to Chase, but still a very good output from Zach's team.
An absolute battle in the most meaningless game of the week.
Yeah, they put up good numbers. Ian needed some momentum too. He did this with flexing Evan Ingram, although he won't be able to do that anymore.
R.I.P.
Adams with a huge game. Everyone just doing their job except Kelsey, really. And kind of Ingram too, but you don't expect huge numbers from him. On the other side, starting Jameis, that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That's cocky. It almost worked too. Chubb, kind of stinky.
Yeah, you got to be disappointed in T. Higgins the most.
Oh, yeah, of course. We already talked about him. Jet hit a huge game. Rome with a big game, too. Trey McBride is really good.
Yeah.
If Brock Bowers wasn't doing so amazing. I think Trey McBride would probably be the cock of the walk. All right, moving on to our next one. We got Garrett versus Aaron. Now this actually was a pretty big game.
Yeah.
I
think if Aaron won, he was in the playoffs. Is that right?
I'd have to check the points again, but he may have needed me to win. He might have had it on Paul. I don't remember, but he definitely needed to win. And Garrett's team coming up huge.
Coming up huge. It was Chuba week. That's good.
It was a
Jordan
Addison.
Addison went absolutely bonkers. And his the guy he replaced, Adam Thielen, looking like wide receiver 1 in Carolina.
And Bryce will actually be able to do something.
Jacoby Myers, another solid performance. And yeah, Will Disley. That's a crazy start at right end.
Hey, he's been all right. But he did get hurt this game, so unfortunate. But it worked out. Aaron's team, yeah, I mean, it sucks. It
Just
just
an absolute implosion.
Well,
A few injuries.
he started 2 people, and I would say 2 of his best players in Ladd and Bucky going down to injury pretty quickly in their games.
Dawson Knox, 1 catch for 5 yards. You can see he's off the roster now. I think Aaron did not appreciate that.
Not at all, dude.
And little trouble in paradise with the Eagles right now. AJ Brown is not happy, dude. There was something crazy going on over there. It's like an episode of Real Housewives of Philadelphia.
You can say that again, dude. I mean, 4 for 43, and did you watch any of that game, or did you see the highlights at least? AJ Brown is butt booty naked open, and Jalen Hurts just won't throw him the ball.
He's a Anthony Richardson who got a little lucky early on.
Well, he's been elevated by his tush push, and like any quarterback could do that, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a bad week overall for Aaron. They are 10-2, the Eagles. So they're chasing the Lions. Kind of got that division on lock.
Jerry Jeudy has emerged.
Jerry Jeudy has emerged.
He's back.
The only issue is he didn't make the playoffs, obviously. So is Jeudy going to be good next year if they bring back Watson? And is it going to be Jameis? Like, even if it's not Watson?
I really hope it's not Watson. I don't know if there's anybody in the world who wants Watson to be their starting quarterback other than him.
What would probably happen is they'd have to send Jameis and a pick for a pick, and then that team would just cut him.
Jameis will land on his feet. He's too cool.
He's a really good backup.
He can probably start for the Packers.
I agree. All right, let's go on here to a huge game. Oh, Tim could have done something really funny, beaten Cade and let Chris become the number 1 overall seed, but couldn't get it done. I mean, he did his darndest. You can't blame the man.
I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this.
A 170 to 160 game is insane.
To 162. Josh Allen, one of the craziest games I've ever seen.
That was insane. 6 touchdowns, but 3 of them rushing.
Yeah.
Tyreek, he's back.
And he technically, well, it wasn't a receiving touchdown, but he did get a reception on one of those rushing touchdowns.
That's pretty sweet.
Chase Brown, just Cade's going to be regretting that one. I don't think Cade has gotten any players from another team that would like
help him.
Yeah, cancel that out or like have as much effect as Chase Brown.
Probably not.
Tyreek going absolutely sicko mode.
10 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown.
I hope he gets arrested again. David Njoku too. He's back. He's fucking stupid, but he got a touchdown.
He's hurt.
Well, he put up a good fight this week.
Yeah, this week he did good, but he may be gone now. Swift is hurt and he stinks.
Yeah, and then Amon-Ra with 10.3. Everybody else on Cade's team scored almost 20.
Could you imagine if Puka was on the other team?
It'd be pretty crazy.
It'd be crazy. Maybe Cade wouldn't have put up 173, and maybe Tim would have put up 200.
I mean, Bijan, there's a lot of revenge seeking
in this one.
In this one.
Oh yeah. just a solid game. Cade gets the 1 seed. Tim having to play this week with Chris as well, but they don't have to play each other, thankfully. And yeah, let's move on to our next slide here and a quick moment of silence for our fallen brother. I've been eliminated.
It's tough.
It hurts.
Should have been last week.
Should have been. Yeah, I mean, it really should have. It sucks. And then this week, of course, or the week after, all my players have been picked up. Every single one of them goes off. Jet had like 40. Cup had 20. Mooney had like 22. It was like it's insane. But the 1 week, they decided to score like 5 combined points.
Yeah.
It hurt.
Good luck to, is it Aaron and Cade?
No, Garrett and Cade.
Garrett and Cade. Good luck, boys. The only 2 remaining members of the dynasty in the guillotine.
Coming down to the last 3 weeks, so good luck. It'd be nice to get a guillotine or a Wacky Dynasty winner in there. All right, so instead of doing our normal game predictions, since we'll probably won't do this until championship week, we decided to just do a quick playoff prediction. And as you can see, round 1, we both picked Tim and Chris to take down their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, the other 2 are definitely underdogs. Tim and Chris have powerhouse teams, and I think they're going to take this one and put up some good fights in round 2.
We will see. Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Zach or Paul's teams, but
little disrespect to Paul's teams.
Okay, a little disrespect to Paul, but Tim and Chris, we've both seen them put up 160 plus. I mean, Chris has put up 190. They just got the better teams right now, and you know what? Zach and Paul are probably just happy to be in the picture, and if they win, that'd be sweet. Huge upset. Round 2, I have Chris taking down Ian, and I'm rooting for Tim to beat Cade.
You can't let personal feelings affect your predictions here.
That's what I've done all season.
I think Chris's team is going to put up big round 2. I can't go against Burrow and Chase. He plays Ian in round 2 in this scenario. Yeah. Ian's team is the team chemistry just isn't there between the players. He added a few guys at the deadline, and they're not really meshing well with the rest of his team. So I think Chris takes that one, and the Cade and Tim is going to be a heavyweight slugfest.
I mean, it'd be a rematch of what just happened, and they put up 170 and 160.
Yeah, I just think Cade's team is too well-rounded. They're more consistent for sure.
A lot more consistent.
So I'm going with Cade.
And then in my championship versus of Chris and Tim, I have Chris taking it down. I just can't go against that Burrow Chase stack.
Yeah, and I think this would be another
Heavyweight.
epic matchup. Epic.
It's pretty epic.
But I think Cade has the more solid team. He has more depth. He has more. Again, the consistency is crazy. Also, I'm wrong a lot when I make predictions, so I'm hoping that's the case here.
Are you really that wrong? Because we're about to find out.
This is the ferocity I want to see the playoff teams have against each other when they play.
Yeah, you can just sense the tension in this photo. Let's look at our regular season predictions. So our guests had a combined record of 10-5 when they got on and predicted. And there's a sub note there. What does that say?
Yeah, the guys got really lucky, so I don't know if we can count that.
All right. Well, if we don't count that, let's move on to me and you, where we put up both winning records.
This is pretty embarrassing. I think we should have done much better than this.
I don't know, dude. 27-23, that's not too bad. There were some gimmies, but
It was a pretty goofy year. So
yeah,
I'll cut us some slack.
cut us a little bit of slack. 27-23 ain't bad. And I would like to say that the Green Bay Packers are partnering with Drake, and that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah,
especially given their fan base.
yeah. Let a OVO heads over there.
And with that, we're gonna sign off here. Good luck to anyone in the playoffs except for Cade. And any final messages to say to our fans?
Um, Merry Christmas and good luck, boys.
Bye bye.
Here we go.